This is the Mau Mau Memorial, or so it is popularly known. However, its official title is Memorial to the Victims of Torture and Ill Treatment in the Colonial Era, 1952 to 1960. The Mau Mau Memorial, which stands at Uhuru Park's Freedom Corner in Nairobi, was built with British money and was officially opened to the public by the British High Commissioner to Kenya, Chris Turner, on September 12, 2015.
1, 2, 3.
And this weekend, a monument was erected, a symbol of remembrance. The Mau Mau were known for their deadlocks and their homemade weapons, and of course the women who supported them.
This gesture from the British government was a result of an out-of-court settlement for Mau Mau veterans who were tortured and detained during the state of emergency from 1952 until 1960. Under the deal, Great Britain agreed to build a Mau Mau monument in lieu of paying reparations. However, the existence of the memorial has not been free from controversy. The memorial has faced opposition from all corners, including from the veterans themselves who claim that it is idealistic and does not portray the actual picture of what transpired.
The Mau Mau War veterans are dismissing the recently launched memorial at the Uhuru Park Freedom Corner, saying they were not consulted before it was set up. The veterans say the monument should be brought down.
Sisi tunachopinga ni kitu kimoja. Ni wale tulipigana na wao, wazungu Mwingereza, kukaa chini kwake na kupanga ni mambo gani yetu sisi, ni kitu gani kitachorwa, ni kitu gani ataandika, ni nani ataandikwa pale, bila hata kufikiria wale mashujaa na wengi wao wako hai, bila kuwaweka ndani ili waweze nao kutoa mchango wao. Hii inajulikana duniani kote ulimwenguni. Ule mchongo ulioko kule, mtoto mdogo akienda kule kuambiwa kwamba tunajaribu hapa kuandika vile mambo yalikuwa, tunakumbuka vile mambo yalikuwa. Kwa ufupi iko vile, tunajaribu kukumbuka jinsi mambo yalivyokuwa mwaka wa 1952 hadi mwaka 1960. Mtoto akisoma hiyo hapa katikati, amenyimwa kujua mambo mengi sana.
The sculpture shows a Mau Mau fighter receiving food from a woman fighter during the struggle for freedom in the forest. Although this act depicts the communal spirit so prevalent during Mau Mau, it ends up driving a wedge between gender by denigrating the gallantry of the fighters who are portrayed as men who were so desperate that they depended on women for their upkeep.
Ni ndaukire gutuika wake ithuothe ginya acio twikora ginya aria maitu nao mainukirio mariko tuka twitukana ithuothe ithu twari ciana ithano cia maitu twitukana ithuothe na ithuothe twituka ndungata cia Mau Mau akoni kuheana muma tundu tutawika akorwo ni kuhitha Mau Mau ni tukuhitha nie tondu nwaigwa ndari kaitu kanini ndiru nditangihuthika niguhuthika guthie nao githaka-ini tondu niguhota na niguhuthika gutumwo nio mari handu nyumire na ngithie uguo nuguturia kairetu.
It is true that women took part in the war, but their role was never limited to provision of food. As the story of Field Marshal Muthoni and other women shows, many women took up spying roles and even guns and fought to the bitter end.
Ndarutagira wira ndi mucie eutari gukundi ngatwaga riboti ngatwarira Kimathi na ni ndatwaraga riboti uria gukuhomwa ngatirauga ngatwara riboti ya ndakimenyirwo ni ndwaraga riboti ri kaita ukihurwo ngatigwo hau ngwite ni homu ngati
Tunwagithire mutitu kurwari Matharaita maku marĩ marĩkũ?
Mararaita. We nginya rĩu ndũnengere bunduki.
Nyũkũnda?
Ndũnengere.
Werutĩire kũ ũhoro wa kũrathana? Na ũhoro wa mĩcinga rĩ, warutire nakũ?
Yakĩrĩ na andũ. Ya mũndũ gwĩka ũguo.
Ũkagucia?
Ũkaringithia nyamũ ĩgathiĩ.
Twanyuire kĩambo twinthe, twanyua na arũme, ũtemũka kana mũrũme gĩthaka-inĩ.
Unlike most other memorials, there are no names of heroes. Instead, a plaque reads that it is a memorial to the victims of torture and ill treatment in the colonial era, 1952 to 1960. It is therefore a memorial to the victimhood, not to heroism. Also, the Mau Mau Memorial at Freedom Corner clearly lacks the majesty, hallowedness, and artistic beauty of great monuments in other countries, including Great Britain. It certainly cannot hold a candle to the great British war monuments, such as Tower Hill Memorial, the Portsmouth Naval Memorial, or the Runnymede Air Forces Memorial. The importance of memorials is that they offer a space for the remembrance and commemoration of those who gave the ultimate gift for patriotism, as well as those who suffered the most. Memorials should be grand and awe-inspiring aesthetical marvels. They are in essence temples where the living can connect with the dead, where the living can extend the hand of gratitude across the great river and say, "Thank you" to the heroes and heroines yonder. It is doubtful whether this small, unimposing memorial, with tiling similar those you find in a urinal in a Carumando bar, approaches these high heights. Instead, the British would want the Mau Mau Memorial that they built to be a monument to the often petty controversies surrounding Mau Mau.
I believe that to deal with the present and move forward into the future, we have to recognize and learn from the past. This era of history will remain controversial.
The memorial stands on clearly hallowed ground, Freedom Corner of Uhuru Park, the very site where Kenyan women undressed in public to protest against President Daniel Arap Moi's authoritarian rule. The site was deliberately chosen to establish a firm connection with freedom, although the memorial itself is not really commemorating the fight for freedom, but the persistence of controversy surrounding the Mau Mau War, with most of the controversy being fueled by colonial sympathizers. To appreciate what is going on, it is important to note that the greatest contribution of Mau Mau is not that freedom fighters were fed by women, which they often were. The most significant and memorable contribution by Mau Mau is that a band of determined freedom fighters managed to get a whole empire off the backs of our ancestors. The British certainly have a good reason to emphasize controversy rather than the gallantry of the ill-equipped force that opened the floodgate of anti-colonial wars across the British Empire. Emphasizing controversy over gallantry and heroism is the equivalent of burying the enemy at sea, the ultimate obliteration of the memory of a people who, when they finally became fed up with colonial mistreatment, decided to pay the highest price for freedom. In this sense, the emphasis on controversy as the most important significant aspect of Mau Mau is a continuation of the colonial propaganda that Mau Mau was never a genuine nationalist movement, but an irrational overreaction by a mentally deranged community that had no idea what was good for them. As sponsors of the memorial, who clearly were trying to atone for their misdeeds, the British, who have a history of building outstanding historical monuments, certainly had a different standard when deciding how a fitting memorial for their bitterest enemy should look and feel. And they certainly built a memorial worth of their contempt for Mau Mau. But perhaps the British should not be blamed for building a memorial that serves their purpose. Kenya has never sponsored a memorial of any kind in the United Kingdom for any reason, since it has never colonized Britain. It is up to Kenya to recognize its heroes, Mau Mau and others, and sponsor a suitable memorial for them. Allowing the British to build a memorial for what is perhaps Kenya's foremost historical event is to surrender dignity and the self-worth of the Kenyan people.